Good morning, children of God. Last Sunday, the Israelites arrived. They crossed the Jordan River, and now they reached the city of Jericho. So now let's see what happened there. Through God's mighty acts and God's grace, the people of Israel crossed the river of Jordan safely, and finally they entered into the promised land. The first city they reached was Jericho. Can you see the wall of the city? Jericho was very big and its wall was so strong. The people of Israel caught by fear. Can you see their face? The people of Israel caught by the fear in front of the big and strong wall of Jericho. How they conquered this big and strong city? When people of Israel was under the fear, God told Joshua the way to conquer the city. March around the city with your army one time every day. Do this for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry trumpet made from the horns of male sheep. Tell them to march in front of the Ark of Covenant. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times. On that day, tell the priests to blow the trumpets as they march. They will make one long blast on the trumpet. When you hear the sound, have all peoples give a loud shout. Then the walls of the city will fall. Joshua conveyed these words from God to the people of Israel and their priests. God just tell them just marching around the city. Could they conquer their city only with the marching and shouting? Didn't they need to the train of the army and the good weapons? It was a hard way to follow for the war. But Joshua and the people of Israel followed God's way. They marched around the city one time every day, and the priest was in front of the march, and there was Ark of Covenant, and the people of Israel followed them. And finally, it was the 7th day. The people of Israel started to march around the city from the early morning, and as God taught, they were marching around the city quietly while waiting the sound from the trumpet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. The 7th time around the priest blew their trumpet. Boo! And Joshua gave the command, now shout! The Lord has given you this city. Wah! People of Israel shouted aloud as much as they can. What would happen for them and for the city? At the sound of trumpet and the people's shout, the big and strong city walls fell down. When they believed God and followed God's way, amazing events happened for them. As the walls fell down, people of Israel came into the city and conquered the city. When they followed God, God gave them the victory. The reason that the people of Israel could win was not because they were strong or they had a good weapon, but the only reason was that they obeyed God and they followed God's way. Like this, in our spiritual battle, where when we believe God and when we follow God's way, God will give us the victory, and let us follow Him. Amen. See you next Sunday.